Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories.
Case file number 1029, written by Trunion, the most ominous ball in the universe. I've always lived alone, dating in bursts, but mostly just going to work. Bought my house in 2008, a cul-de-sac on the hill where we never really get visitors. A visitor has to pass a gate and ascend a 100-foot path to reach the front door. House has a full-size basement, reachable by interior only. I only go down there 2 times a week for laundry. Polished concrete floor, foundation as walls, no ductwork, all sealed. Spartan, no furniture, no clutter, everything in marked bins and cabinets. Also, I never babysat kids or bought toys. No family, no pets or maid, no drugs. Only really have 3 close friends, similar recluse types. Neither they nor I like pranks. In January 2018, I descended the stairs to do laundry, flipped the lights on, and saw a red object in the middle of the floor. It was a rubber bouncy ball, like you'd find at a playground. I checked the windows, valuables, etc., and everything was intact. I took the ball and showed it to people at work to be sure I wasn't crazy. I checked the polished concrete and it was convex to flat, so it's unlikely the ball just rolled there. It felt placed. I don't like having it. A month later, I stopped at a city park and said, "Thank you," and then threw it downhill to the woods.
Case notes for file 1029. The most ominous ball in the universe. So this, along with that tiny dot in the space-time continuum, the rip in the universe, the few stories where there's this ball that shouldn't be there. And in those cases, there are actual floating black orbs, a rip in the space-time. This one freaks me out too, though. Both of them are terrifying in their absurdity and their impossibility in the universe. Like how you describe all the options in your story, there's no way the ball, this red ball, should be in your basement. It simply was there when it wasn't supposed to be. To me, that screams, was transposed from a different universe. These things shouldn't be happening, but they are, frequently. I think tossing it away was the right move.
Case file number 1030, written by Sugar-Free Monster. Welcome to the Multiverse. We got fun and games. So yesterday, after band practice, I was driving to get my mom from work at night at around 9 p.m. when I was driving through a really dark and cramped back alley. Everything was going smooth. I wasn't drunk, high, I'm not mentally ill in any way, I swear. All of a sudden, I literally heard a large crash sound and a super unmistakable beam of light, like if I had been T-boned. But I wasn't. Everything automatically went to normal. I was on the road again and all. No cars around. When I got home from picking up my mom, I checked my car for scratches or marks or bumps and it was perfectly fine. The crazy part that brought me to consider the Matrix theory is, this morning, I asked my guitar player to send me the recording of our practice. I listened to them in complete silence with him yesterday, many times. I knew exactly what happened where and all. There was a chunk of the practice absolutely missing. I said, "Hey, where's the other half of the recording?" And he said, "What do you mean? You had to leave practice early yesterday to get your mom from work." I almost got nauseous. That's impossible. I left late. I was tight on time. Did I hop into a reality where I left earlier to get my mom, ultimately avoiding the car crash? Did I die?
Case notes for file 1030. Welcome to the universe. We got fun and games. Sometimes return to the classic glitches is good. There's no handcrafted brioche buns or garlic aioli or anything like that. It's just classic hamburger. Lettuce, tomato, mustard ketchup, salt and pepper. This is how I would categorize this glitch. It's just classic quantum immortality. Nothing wrong with it, and kinda delicious. I hope you enjoy your freshly served quantum immortality. Welcome to the new universe.
Creepy file number 85, written by Creative Willingness 7, Black Eyes of Horror. I've had a few creepy things happen to me in my life, but this one, I still think about how things could have gone really wrong very fast. I'm a 20-year-old female. This takes place back when I used to live in southern Indiana, like seriously in the sticks. It was a weekend night, and my best friend and I were coming home after our graveyard shift at a local waffle joint. She decided to get her dog from her house so we could stay at my place for the night. That's important for later. So we start heading out into the country where I live, and to get to my house, there's a long, narrow dirt road you have to go down. About a mile in or so, we see a truck's headlights. We get closer and it's a nice truck, probably like a 2018 at least. I can't say I know much about cars, leave me alone. He's parked to where he's sideways, blocking the whole path. Confused, I get out and ask if he's okay. He looked hopeful when he saw me at first. I'm just waiting on a friend to come get me. My truck is stuck. He smiled at me, and I noticed his pupils were nearly completely dilated. He looks back to my car and sees that I have someone with me, and he looks at the dog sticking his head out of the window. His smile fades. He says, "Pit bulls are mean and nasty." He quickly turns around and gets back in his truck. I go back to my friend and I'm like, "Put this crap in reverse and use whatever hood race skills you have to get us out of here." So we take my poor 95 Caddy that really shouldn't be driving on a dirt road anyway and back up all the way down that road and get back to the main road. Relieved, we take a different road home. Then, lo and behold, the same guy is parked on that road, standing off to the side, smiling, just looking into our headlights. We were completely about to crap ourselves and we gunned it for the rest of the way home. I don't know how he got there before us or what his intentions were, but I'm thankful I wasn't alone, being my naive college girl self.
Case notes for the Creepy File 85. Black Eyes of Horror. You know, a lot of people don't like pit bulls, and I can't exactly blame them. There are a lot of issues that pit bulls have. They can be more aggressive. It also just comes down to how they were trained as pups. But still, in this case, you can't deny the reputation of pit bulls kind of saved you by the description of this man. I don't think he had any good intention. Seeing that dog, like, oh, yeah, I can kidnap these two girls, no problem. Ah, oh, damn, there's a dog. They're just so nasty. Yeah, nasty to you, buddy. It's very creepy that he somehow managed to get in front of you, though. Maybe he knew a shortcut. Or was he actually a human being? Was he something else?
Bonus file written by No Competition 8871. The little girl crying by the pond. I was hearing howling one night and early morning too, not long ago. And I also had been thinking about skinwalkers, reading about them. Well, tonight I was outside with my cousin, helping him set up his new basketball hoop. We got finished with it, and he was shooting some hoops while I was watching. It's about dusk. Then he asked me if I want to go inside, and I say sure, and then all of a sudden I hear, "Help me, please help me, someone please help." It sounded like a little girl crying for help near our pond. I was shaking, and my cousin had already gone inside the door, but was waiting for me. At this point, I'm shaking because it's almost like I knew what it was as soon as I heard it. My cousin came back out, and I no longer heard it. Then I'm shaking my way back inside to tell my fiancé, and she just looks out of the bathroom window because it's looking out towards the pond, and she sees a little girl out there. Then she tells me to come look. Not even 10 seconds later, there's nothing there. What the hell is happening? First it was knocking and howling. We're having actual experiences. I'm seriously terrified. I checked for any sign of an actual little girl, and there was no sign anyone had actually been down there, so there was nothing to find, nowhere to look for a real girl. It wasn't a real girl, and I know it wasn't. I know who lives around this area, and I know what happens around here. It's not just some distressed kid, I promise. I'm about 60% native, and also just had a child. Lots of negative things are going on in the family right now. It's chaotic, and it's feeding off of these things. This wasn't a little girl that was kidnapped or anything like that. My fiancé saw her out by the pond on the grass. She couldn't have fallen in 10 seconds, and there was no sign. There was no splashing in the water, no ripples. And also, when I checked it this morning, there were no footprints or hair or shoes or clothes or anything. It was muddy enough to see if someone had been there last night. I'm gonna start catching all this on camera. Footage of this would be incredible and would help put our minds at some sense of ease.
Case notes for the bonus file. The little girl crying by the pond. Energy vampires, skinwalkers, mimics, beasts of danger roaming the woods, sirens of the sea. There are so many types of stories out there in legend, folklore, and they all really describe beasts or entities that are intent on luring people in, one way or another, through beauty or a cry of help from some boy or girl. Whatever it is, they're playing on the good nature of people, or just their common nature in general, like the sirens of the sea. Those sailors are in for a rough landing. My impression is they want to siphon off from our metaphysical energy, our good nature, you could say. I think they see us as having the soul, something they don't have, and they want to tap into that power. It's like tapping into the trunk line of a power station, directly feeding into the energy, drawing that voltage. And it of course drains us. Best never to approach that. Always reminds me of the Dementors in Harry Potter. I think J.K. Rowling kind of borrowed from that folklore idea of entities that will drain your soul or drain your happiness from you. They aren't out there to give you happiness, that's for sure. And now time for the quote of the day. Be humble because you are made of the earth. Be noble because you're made of the stars. A possible Serbian proverb. I quite like this. Yeah, you should both be humble and reflecting on your nature as a human being. You're not a god, but at the same time appreciate the vast wonder that's within you, within all of us. And not just purely by what we're made of. Yeah, we're manufactured as mass from the center of stars, that's cool. But more notable is our sentience. The fact that we can appreciate the universe. The universe doesn't really have any value outside of people that are, or entities that are able to comprehend it, to perceive it, to witness its wonders. Without us, without sentience, there's nothing there. I think that's where I fall. I value sentience above everything else. I don't know if that's directly from a soul, a religious entity, is it God that infuses us with a soul? Is it a simulation? Is it kind of like both? God just created a simulation in a certain sense, you could say, yeah. Why not? Maybe it's a computer, maybe it's not. Like God is just some programmer that, wrote the code and created us, like a Sims, very advanced Sims. I don't know. It's certainly fun to wonder about. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. See you tomorrow.